This is the Four Wheel Parts Down and Dirty Show Off-Road Edition, powered by Polaris RZR. We're taking it back to the roots, getting dirty and covering all things off-road, because pavement, well, that's for it's gloves off, in your face, on the edge, and the way off-road should be. We're your definitive source for all things dirt.
4WP is more than a store. We're truck and Jeep experts and have been for over 50 years. From wheel and tire upgrades to full custom builds, 4WP has you covered. Whether you want to order the best parts online or shop in store, do the work yourself, or get it done by a pro, all roads lead to 4WP. Do your rig right. Shop online or find your store at 4WP.com.
Welcome to this week's Four Wheel Parts Down and Dirty Show Off-Road Edition, powered by Polaris RZR. I got a fun one today. You know, we were shifting gears. We're not talking racing. We're talking recreation and UTVs. Got my good friend John Wright. He is a documentary maker, but he was also recently up at Sand Hollow filming a documentary on some UTVs. It's called Trail Hero, and we got him on the line to talk about all the fun and shenanigans that happened up there at Sand Hollow with the Romos, Brandon Sims, Dustin Jones, and a whole cast of characters. So should be kind of fun, kind of shifting gears and just talking about what actually makes recreational off-roaders choose that, right, is their hobby, so I think it's a little bit different than things we've done here in the past on the off-road edition, so looking forward to that. So we're going to jump into that. I know we had some big stuff come out recently. I know Robbie Gordon announced his all-wheel drive trophy truck. We had Best of the Desert, their finale wrap-up. That's kind of some stuff that I want to cover in the national show because we kind of more results and stories and things like that. I think the off-road edition, I've really tried to gear this towards the personalities, things like that. So if you guys are looking for that type of content, hit up the national show, the Down and Dirty Radio Show, powered by Polaris RZR. It drops every week as well. This is kind of more let's share the stoke and tell stories about all things off-road. So, but if you want both shows, head over to iTunes, hit the subscribe button, and you'll be able to get both shows. Please leave a rating or a review. It definitely helps us out. For those of you that do, much appreciated if you do that. And you can follow me on social media. It's at JimBeaver15. Also, Project Action. We've been killing it lately. I had this big interview with Brian Deegan. If you haven't watched it, please go over there, check it out. You're not going to be disappointed. Sat down for over an hour with my good friend Josh Martelli and Brian Deegan. Talked about Brian's career and his new podcast and everything else. So I think you guys are definitely going to enjoy that if you're a fan of Brian Deegan or just the whole entire FMX movement and kind of going back to the roots of it. And it's definitely a cool thing. So go and check that out over there on iTunes as well. But we are going to take a short break. Then we're going to roll into things, talking Trail Hero UTVs and a whole lot more with John Wright right here on the Four Wheel Parts Down and Dirty Show Off-Road Edition, powered by Polaris RZR. Extreme performance, reliability, and the most fun you can have on four wheels? The Polaris RZR brings it to you. But you don't need to take my word for it. You can take theirs.
I'm Tanner Faust, and I choose the Polaris RZR because it's the most fun you can have with a steering wheel.
What's up? I'm Ronnie Renner, and I choose Polaris RZR because it's the sickest, most reliable side-by-side on the planet.
What's up, everybody? Heavy D from Diesel Brothers. Listen, I'm on Team RZR because it's hands down the best piece of machinery on the planet.
I'm RJ Anderson, and I choose Polaris RZR because it's the most fun, most capable machine.
Action sports stars, TV personalities, and some of the best race car drivers in the world all choose Polaris RZR because it's the ultimate combination of power, suspension, agility, and fun. Find out more information on the web at PolarisRZR.com or follow at Polaris RZR on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter, and use the hashtag RazorLife to share your story. When looking for a new wheel for your off-road vehicle, car, truck, or UTV, the choice is easy. You choose what the pros use. Rob McCachran, Keegan Kincaid, and myself, Jim Beaver, all exclusively use Vision Wheel, whether we're dominating Baja, taking the cup at Crandon, or shredding UTVs. Vision Wheel's trend-setting designs and durability will set you apart from the competition and your friends. Check out VisionWheel.com or at Vision Wheel on social media to learn more. Anywhere is possible. It's more than just a slogan. Anywhere is possible with General Tire's wide variety of tires for whatever it is that you drive. Whether you're looking for off-road capability balanced with impressive on-road performance or ultra-high performance offering all-season traction designed with a driving enthusiast in mind, General Tire has what you need to get where you're going. General Tire, providing anywhere as possible with a Down and Dirty radio show since 2012. Do you race, or are you a weekend warrior? Have you checked on the date on your helmet recently? Don't get caught off guard by using an outdated helmet. Impact Racing, the leader in motorsport safety, has new SA 2015 helmets to fit your budget. Whether you're looking for a helmet with a full carbon fiber shell to take you to victory at the Indy 500, or just looking for some helmets for a weekend at Glamis, Impact Racing has a helmet for you. Find out more information at impactraceproducts.com or on Facebook at Impact Safety. Super ATV is the industry leader in aftermarket UTV and ATV parts and accessories. Super ATV products are designed, engineered, tested, and manufactured right here by Super ATV. Whether you're looking to upgrade your suspension, get stronger axles, or you're looking for a new winch to get you out of a tough spot, Super ATV has what you're looking for. And since we know you're in a hurry, we offer fast, free shipping to the lower 48 states on all orders. Visit superatv.com now and get your UTV or ATV dialed in. All right, I'd like to welcome my guest this week to the 4 Parts Down and Dirty Show Off-Road Edition, powered by Polaris Razor. We're pulling you into this one for the first time, Mr. John Wright. I know you've been on Project...
I've never been on this podcast, right?
No, I don't know if you've been on the national show either.
I don't think so.
Yeah, I've used you on Project Action a bunch.
Right, we've always had like wide-ranging, crazy conversations about things.
Which is weird because this go around we're actually talking off-road because you went to this rad event.
Yeah,
I've been talking about it for about a month now. I know,
really?
Or a couple of months. Leading up to this event, and you were kind of pumped. But you guys went up to Utah, right?
Yeah, it's called Trail Hero. There was a Jeep side where it was like Jeep guys and rock crawler guys and that sort of thing. But then for the first time this year, there was a side-by-side side of that. That's too many sides in one in one sense.
Side.
Yeah, there's a UTV side for this whole event, and it was a lot of UTVs there, and it was all based in a place called Sand Hollow State Park in Utah.
Beautiful up there too.
Oh my God, it's like, I mean, I don't know a whole lot about off-road really. What I'm exposed to through friends and that sort of thing, but this place seems like a mecca to me. Like I couldn't imagine a better place to bring your UTV. If someone is out there who has a UTV who hasn't done it, they should do it. They should just go to Sand Hollow for a weekend and enjoy. It's the perfect spot because you've got a little bit of every kind of terrain up there.
Yeah, no, and I've never actually been there. I've got a lot of friends, obviously, in the UTV industry. That's a staple. Like, people it's like a Glamis thing. You go there once or twice a year.
Right.
Like, you just have to because it's just different. It's
beautiful. Like Glamis, Moab.
Yeah.
Sand Hollow.
That's one thing that's interesting about Utah. Utah, like, I don't know what people think of Utah. I guess Salt Lake City and Mormons, I hate to say that.
Right.
But, like, it's such a diverse state. I mean, they had the Olympics there in Park City. Park City's absolutely gorgeous if you've never been there. Like,
I've never been there.
It's absolutely amazing.
I've heard of course, through Sundance.
Yeah, they've got Sundance there. It's where they had the Olympics. It's it's an amazing city. I could never afford to live there.
It's like Aspen or something.
Yes, but it's just absolutely amazing. But there's so many facets to Utah. You talked about Moab, and then you talk about Sand Hollow. I mean, there's Lake Powell. That there's it's a really diverse state. I guess Arizona's much the same though.
I think so. Yeah, like anytime you've got states where a bunch of different climates in one state, or a bunch of different kinds of terrain and kinds of places. Yeah, I mean, I haven't been to Utah very much at all. It was definitely my first time to Sand Hollow. I never knew. It's, by the way, for reference, it's very close to St. George. It's like 15 minutes out of the town of St. George, Utah. And so, I mean, I think the reason why off-roaders love it is because of the variety of terrain and the natural beauty. I mean, if you want to see, there's really nothing better if you have a UTV, you're getting off-road, than seeing all of the views and like having awesome places to ride. I think that's what brings people there.
Yeah, no, and I mean, they've actually got some races and stuff there. But going back to kind of the original topic, man, I mean, what, tell us a little bit about why you went up there. I know, like, my good friends there from Attain were there, and I didn't realize who you were actually going up there with. And then I saw your pictures, and I'm like, oh, dude, like, all my friends. And then I saw who you were interviewing, because I knew you really didn't even quite know who you were interviewing. And then I started seeing, like, Dustin Jones, Sierra Romo, like, all these people that are, like, really good friends of mine.
Yeah,
and I'm like, holy crap, I should have went on this trip.
No, I know. I was thinking that the whole time, too. And I didn't really know what to expect. So, I'm a documentary filmmaker. I was approached because while there are a lot of people in off-road who are good at off-road media, like covering action and covering races and that sort of thing, there aren't very many people in off-road who are coming from a documentary background. So I was brought onto this project basically to be the director of a documentary, a documentary feature film on the UTV lifestyle. That's what it's really about. And so while we had racers there, it was like you mentioned some of them, Brandon Sims was there too, and we have a lot of people that were there. People like Marcelo from Assault.
Yeah, he's a good friend of mine.
Yeah. I mean, I figure you know all these people.
Yeah.
So
we all hang out in the same exact circle at races and things like that.
Yeah.
So I was like,
I know, it's so funny.
my invite was lost in the mail, I'm assuming, but somebody somewhere omitted it. But
yeah, right. SSV. You would know all of these people, all of them. I just assumed like Fuel, Ryan from Fuel, all these people. So I know none of these people until this point, right? So this is why it's weird. Like you and I have this, friendship going back a long time, and I do not know this entire side of your life pretty much.
Yeah.
But anyway, it's very. So we went up there really to do a film on the lifestyle of people who like to ride UTVs, who own UTVs, and who either race in them or are part of this kind of community of people who like to ride. And for those racers, it was a fun week because they didn't have to race. They got to be there and just ride and have fun and mess around.
I will tell you, too, like, I not being there, seeing some of the stuff that I saw happened just through social media and stuff like that, we all, like, we go to an event, and it's like, you're focused. You got to do this. You got to do that. I will say, and I can cuss because this is a podcast, shit hits the fan when we don't have to race. When we can do whatever we want, like, watch out because things get interesting real quick.
And it was interesting, to say the least. I mean, I could tell you some of the things we filmed, but, some of these things were things that were organic that just happened and we're there. Other things, someone would come to me and they would say, listen, we have a racer that wants to do this. What do you think? And I'd be like, all right, if they want to do that, we'll film it, that kind of thing. And so this was a very interesting thing. The guys at UTV Sports Magazine are a big part of this, the effort to do this film and that whole thing. And there are a lot of sponsors that wanted to be part of it, big players in the industry and that sort of thing. And so, what I was interested in, okay, so this is an interesting thing too. You say, like, how do you get involved in this when you're not a part of the off-road thing? And the truth is, it's almost better, in my opinion at least, my biased opinion. I think it's better to have an outsider come and do a project specifically like this, where you're trying to, like, do a documentary on the lifestyle of something. It's almost better to have someone almost look in like an anthropologist and go, like, what's going on here? Like, why do these people, out of all the, I think you had the best line, about like why, about like what the potential for the project, like the big question, why would you choose to do this rather than any of the other things you could do on your weekend? Why would you choose to be out in a UTV? And why would the average family want to spend $20,000, $25,000, $30,000 on one of these machines? That's not a small nut, to kind of meet every month if you're paying for
That's a swimming pool in the backyard, or,
right.
It's a lot of things. Second car.
Yeah. Why would you want to do that? And I think we answered the question.
Well, I think that was, I know why I do it, but that is, and I think a lot of people from the outside looking in, and I mean, people from all over the country, they look and they go, it's an interesting lifestyle. You know what
Definitely.
I mean? And I'm deep into off-road, but I'm deep into motorsports, and I travel a lot and I go around,
right.
but I know there's certain people who they don't race, they don't do anything. They are UTV or, and they're at Glamis, they're at San Hol. They are at the dunes every single weekend. They've got their RV, they've got their thing. Literally,
Yes.
Dad and Mom get off of work on Friday afternoon. They are in the camper, and they spend all winter long in the sand on the
Yes,
weekends.
that's
Kids
all they wanna do.
Kids grow up there. That's
Right.
I think that's such an interesting
Yeah.
subculture of off-road.
It is, and because why would you rather do that? And so for example, you mentioned Sierra Romo. We had another. I'm going to forget some of these names, but we had another girl there, another female in this world, and I thought this is interesting because at least the perception from the outside could be this is a very male-dominated thing, right? Boys and their toys, engines, the whole thing, gearheads getting together and shooting the shit, and maybe like a certain, at least the perception of a certain macho attitude behind some of it, which of course you find out is not true actually really at all. But people, guys like to have their fun. Why would a woman instead of going, I mean, I hate to be stereotypical, but instead of going shopping or going to the movies or doing any one of the other things that women might more stereotypically like to do, why would they rather get dirty, smell like gasoline, hang out with a bunch of dudes, and in some cases try to compete with those dudes for titles?
Yeah. In Sierra's case, doing a damn fine job of it.
Right, exactly. And like, why would that be your life? And there was one girl, she gets in the seat, and she says, "Man." Now, by the way, I have to sort of set the scene here. I'm in a chase vehicle. We did some things that I don't think have been done all that much in this media space. So it'll be interesting to see how it turns out. But we wired up helmets, not with radio, two-way radio microphones. They all have, of course, rugged or PCI or whatever they have. But we wired them up with film quality audio microphones. We had a sound guy there from LA who was helping me capture this. So I'm sitting in the front seat of a chase vehicle. I have a driver next to me. I have a pair of headphones on my ears. I can hear exactly what the sound guy hears. The sound guy sitting behind me has a mixer in his lap, a full Sound Devices audio mixer. He's listening to the car in front of us, and we're trying to keep pretty good pace with it. But, these are racers. So, we have to have a good driver, and we did. I'm listening to the conversation happening in the car in front of me, and every once in a while I'm breaking in to sort of ask a question or help guide the conversation to something that I want to know about for the film. We rigged the entire car with cameras, so it's capturing every angle. It's capturing passenger, driver, behind, in front, the wheel, because I want to see the violence happening on the ground, too, because you're so insulated in these UTVs from, with a good suspension and everything. And so I just want to know these things. This girl, she gets in, she goes, as soon as they hit the dirt, she goes, "Oh man, see, that's the feeling I like. Getting this dust in my face, getting some of the sand raining down on my head." And I immediately broke in and said, "Why the hell would you want that?" She's like 28 or something like that. And, a girly girl in a lot of other ways in her life. That was the other question I had. Like, are you a girl that's like a tomboy and that's why you like this? Oh, no. I like to go out and, wear dresses and go to nightclubs and stuff like that. Very interesting. So as a documentarian, I'm interested in that whole question and this whole world and how these people get in it. For example, a guy like Marcelo, why would he stop what he's doing, or not stop what he's doing in aerospace manufacturing or whatever he was in before, but why would he move into manufacturing parts for UTVs?
Now he's got like a trailer business with his brother too, and like the guy is like mad smart. Like you said, he could go into any industry he wanted to and probably be successful.
Yeah. I get that impression from him.
Yeah, he's a really good friend of mine, and he's been a big supporter. And I don't say all this because of that. I mean, the guy literally he's that smart.
Yeah. No, he struck me that way, and so like I'm just interested in all these questions, and I think as an outsider, you don't take anything for granted. You don't say like, you ask dumb questions actually too, And sometimes I'm leaning into the dumb questions. Like I kind of already know the answer, but I want them to tell me, why does the suspension do that? Right? I want to know, but it's not because I necessarily don't know. It's because I want them to tell me. Why? How did they see it? Right? So that's what the film is about. I think it's going to be fun to watch. posted I didn't post, but privately in the team that worked on it with me, I posted a brief sequence. It was Dustin Jones and the name escapes me, co-driver, going through a river in a Polaris Razor. No, sorry.
I was going to say Dustin would have been a Can-Am.
Sorry, yes, exactly right. In a Can-Am. And it is, going through this river, basically crawling over boulders and trying to see how he can navigate over this giant boulder in front of him, sending water, flying up behind him and trying to, and you can hear the entire conversation between him and the guy next to him the entire way. This was about 2 minutes and 40 seconds, like just a rough cut of this. They loved it. They said, "Oh my God, it's gold." I said, "That's a random selection of what we got." It wasn't even a highlight. This was just random. And so I think it's going to be good, man. I really am excited about it. I really wanted to know. A lot of times I've watched things like the Mint 400 or, any one of these big events from the outside, not being a part of the industry or anything like that. And it was really fun to just literally get dirty, get all my camera gear dirty, get up at the crack of dawn and go out in the cold. I mean, it was like 40s and 50s overnight and then up to 80s in the afternoon. So it was, hot at one part of the day, cold at another part of the day. It was a lot, and I got sick after it. Like, I came home and immediately crashed and, got a cold and everything. And I think, my immune system was just shot after a crazy week. But I think it's going to turn out pretty well. I'm excited about it. And I'm excited to share it with everybody at the end of this.
Well, how was that? Because you've been an off-road it's not like you'd never been to an off-road race or you had nothing to do. Like, you've covered the Parker 400 or and 425. I know Casey folks well. You and I have talked. Like, you've been around. You've lived in Parker. I mean, obviously, know off-road a bit.
I would say I've been off-road adjacent for a while.
Yeah. But how was it for you to finally, actually go out and really experience, have, an experience for you? I mean, some people go and it's like it gets their hooks in them. It's like, oh, I got to do this again sometime.
Man, I'm telling you, that happened to me. Like, I had a blast. Absolutely. There were parts where it was absolute chaos. Like, we had lost the vehicle we were supposed to be covering. They're off somewhere. We can't find them. We send the drone up. Where are they? We can't find them. We're trying to get through this rocky area ourselves. I need to get behind the wheel at one point of a Can-Am and try to navigate. I was wheeling. Dude, at one point I had a wheel like 3 feet off the ground trying to come around in this rocky situation. And the guys are like all impressed that I can even do it, because they look at me as being this complete rookie. But no, it was a blast. I had a blast. I wish I hope the project – this is a selfish wish, but I hope the project does well enough that I can do something like this again because I would love to.
Yeah, well, I totally could see you and Melissa having like a Razor and going out and just like cruising through the desert and just going like I could see you guys doing that.
It's fun. And I'll tell you, the thing about Sand Hollow and the reason why it was the perfect venue for this, again, I'm selling Sand Hollow more than anything right now because I just think if you have a UTV, you've got to go there. You've got perfect red sand dunes, perfect. You have and miles of it. You have areas of the most perfect granite and perfect rock where like you can come if you want to do rock crawling with your UTV, which is way more possible than many people think. Like, they're extremely versatile. This is the other thing we found. Right out of the box, these things can do rock. I mean, really, really, really well. So we did that. We shot a lot of that. It has amazing vistas and views where, like, you come to the edge of this rim and just look down. It's like a straight, 400 feet drop down to the desert floor. It looks friggin' amazing, dude. On camera, some of the stuff we got with drones and things like that is amazing. It has some straight desert, and it has a lake. And the lake was not uninvolved in our – I'll just say that. It's a little teaser. The lake was not uninvolved in our UTV shenanigans.
Yeah, well, I know they made like their own slip and slide, right, or slide down the hill because I saw Dustin Jones at some point chuck Sierra down it. I know she got like pants ripped off, like not like her pants legs.
And I'll say this too. So so Dustin Jones, for people who don't know, he loves to wear jorts his jean shorts, right?
He's from down south, and I don't mean that in a bad way. I just mean
Right. Well, that's what he told me. He's like, "Hey, I'm a Louisiana boy. I'm going to wear my jorts." And he looked at me and he goes, I was interviewing him, and he looked at me, and I was wearing like a pair of ripped jeans, long jeans. And he goes, "Man, those would actually make a good pair of jorts too." So later that night, we're doing this that slip and slide stuff that you were talking about. Everyone sort of pulled out. You maybe have 80 UTVs surrounding this concert scene. They had Afro Man there, who's the guy that did.
Oh my gosh, because I was high.
Yeah.
He's still around.
He's still around. So he was there.
And I got to say, he probably goes on stage higher than a kite. You got to assume.
Absolutely, yeah. And every single song he does, it's hilarious, dude. Because like every single song he does,
Afro Man, that's a throwback from 20 years ago.
I know. Every song is about marijuana, But anyway, so he's up there playing, and someone set up with this fire hose, or whatever it is, this slip and slide from the lake, and it goes right down into the lake, and it's beautiful sand all the way down, and I feel this pair of arms come from behind me. It's Justin Vickers, picks me up off the ground. Dustin and his buddy come up and rip my pants in two. Like, just rip. They made me a pair of. I got jorted by Dustin Jones.
So are you going to wear the jorts again sometime?
I've got to. But, they're a little weird the way they ripped. Like, they come up the thigh in a weird way, and I'm like, I'm going to get looks, So I'm going to have to, find a way to stitch those back up a little bit at least.
Halloween's coming up. You need to go.
There you go.
You need to be Dustin Jones for Halloween. He's listening to this. He's a good friend of mine, by the way. So
I need a Monster Energy hat, and
we need to set this up. John Wright as Dustin Jones. You know what? There'd be a few people that would get it. They think it's funny as hell.
You know what? Dustin was one of the real stars of the week. I mean, he was just a blast.
I want to talk personality. That guy's got it.
Oh my God! And he was in full shenanigans mode. Where nothing was serious. Everything. I'm not even sure he was riding his own vehicle. So whoever was the poor guy who gave him that Can-Am, it got to work out.
Yeah.
But anyway, so yeah, it was a blast, dude. And I'm just excited about the project. I'm excited about the way the film's going to turn out. And by the way, if you just like seeing people do crazy stuff in vehicles and that sort of thing, this thing is going to appeal whether you're into UTVs or not. That's also why I'm excited, by the way, is because I think it could introduce some people to the world of the especially the side-by-side, but maybe off-road in general. Just this idea of being able to get where you couldn't get before, to places untraveled, and also see things that you've never seen before, see parts of the country you haven't. And this was my big takeaway, and I'm curious how you see this or if you agree. I sort of saw, at the end of the week, I was trying to think about how to frame this, which you always have to kind of do as a filmmaker. How am I, what is the real takeaway here, or what's the lead?
I've got all of this stuff. What's
instead of just seeing brushstrokes, what's the big picture, right? And I'm thinking, oh my God, it just hit me one day. I woke up early one morning and I was dragging, and it was a big day ahead of us. And I was looking out at these guys who were all up early, ready to rock and roll, and they're dragging too, but they're excited to get out there. And all this urgency, radio chatter, and engines and people, logistics and people organize. And I'm thinking, man, all of these resources, all of this energy, all of this urgency toward what? Really having fun. And you're like, oh. And that's when it hit me. I was like, adults don't get to play anymore, generally speaking. Adult men, adult women don't get to
No, it's a grind. It's a vicious cycle.
Yeah, they got to go to work,
pay bills.
Right. Go to bed. Watch Netflix. Go to bed. Get up the next morning. Do the same thing. This is one of the rare things in life where these machines really provide people the chance to let their hair down and really be playful. Every single one of those guys at certain moments I saw become a 12-year-old. And you go oh, that's what it is. That's why they like it. People need to play. In fact, if you look at the science of it, there's actually science to back it up. People really need to play, and they don't get a chance to. And so I think that's what this is all actually really about, is all of this urgency and resources and, millions of dollars and everything going into a way to give people like this the thrill of a great, right, competitiveness like you did when you were in the playground, with your friends, like who can spit the furthest or who can throw a coin, the furthest without hitting the wall or whatever it is that you're doing. People need that, and like this gives them the chance.
Yeah, I gotta ask before we kind of move on though. You were talking about all the groups of people. I gotta ask. So I know Sierra Romo was there. Was the entire Romo family there?
Yes.
So Claudia, Randy, the whole works.
Yes.
Okay. So funny story. I love the Romos. Right. Absolutely.
Oh, they're delightful.
Yeah, they're amazing people. So the funny story about this whole deal is you see like Sierra's got her race car and Randy's got his race car, and they race in the desert. Both of them do phenomenal. Randy's a hell of a driver, so is Sierra. And so Claudia, the mom, she's always kind of off to the side, right? And they call her, she's the mom. She could actually drive a Razor, right? She used to race in the Work Series when they do the short course
Oh,
stuff.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, so she just
I
kind of...
interviewed her, but I don't remember her saying that, but she must have.
So her maiden name is Beaver.
Oh.
Yeah, so her maiden name is Beaver. So we were at one of these races, and I started giving Randy shit. I said, and Claudia was right there too. And I said, I've never seen this. Sierra's got a car, Dad's got a car. I said, where's her car? And Randy just kind of looks at me, and she's standing there, and she goes, yeah, Randy, where's my car? I said, you know what? I said, I think I'm going to have her race with me. And he just kind of looked at me, and she goes, yeah. She's like, maybe I'll just go back to my maiden name, and we only have to change the name on the door. And Randy just looked at me like, you dick. It was all in good fun and everything, but no, such good people. But yeah,
they're awesome. They're really awesome, and Sierra is really impressive. I'm not sure how old Sierra is. 20s, know, but I've
been watching her since she was like 15. I mean, she
is so awesome.
She's amazing, and I don't say that very often. And I look and I'm like, I love to look at young talent and go, what's next for them, and it's like you can see there's some kids that are good and there's some kids that are great.
Well, and dude,
the record, Sierra was one of those prodigies that you knew was just great.
Definitely, but I gotta give props. I mean, you've always championed women in motorsports, and it's I look at that field, and of course, there are probably more and more women. Would you say it's rising, the number of women in it?
Yeah, I think in UTVs they've been a gateway for women in motorsports. It's amazing, and I've been fortunate to have my contract with Lucas Oil and Mav TV, so I go to all these short course races, and
right.
I know it was really special here, Reno. The National Series, they've got their whole regionals. There's a bunch of kids that race there, but the National Series, they have 3 divisions: Razor 170, Junior Kart, and Mod Kart, and they're all it's kind of a stepping stone into UTVs. Well, Mod Kart, which is the fastest of this ladder series before you get into a UTV, they had an all-girls podium at the national level. And literally, I mean, there's like 3 girls in the class and then like a dozen guys. And it's the first time ever 3 girls actually beat all the guys.
Wow.
And I know I interviewed on the show about a month ago Jesse Owens, who won that race. But I just love seeing going into the pits and you see these little girls pull their helmets off. They got their black and pink race suits. And
I know.
My daughter, she's got a Razor 170 and she loves it. You know what I mean? She absolutely loves it.
How old is she now?
She's 11.
Nice.
Well, she'll be 11 here in a couple of weeks. But
I would be shocked if she didn't go into some kind of... Do you think she has an interest in racing?
She loves driving, but I won't push her into racing. But I've asked her. I said, do you want to race, Addie? She goes, no. She loves going out on the weekends and being a recreationalist. She loves being behind the wheel, having fun.
I guess we'll see.
She's good enough to race, and she could probably win races.
I was just going to say, we'll have to just see. It'd be interesting to watch her and see what she ends up wanting to do. But
she's got friends that race, and it's just one of those. I think with kids, you have to let them find their way.
Absolutely.
Because if you force them into something, I think then it's like.
Yeah, she'll end up resenting it and not want to do. Yeah, I think you just got to let it happen. Whatever she wants to do in her own way. Yeah, but I love that too, and so I just was thoroughly impressed by everybody there. The whole. I never saw anything but friendliness toward me and acceptance, and like you say, you're kind of like one of the guys at the end. Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I definitely felt that, and I got to give props to the team that was involved in this over at UTV Sports Magazine. They have all of just these great people that are thoroughly enthusiastic and willing to give up, lots more than the 9 to 5 to do what they do. And I loved working with them. It was a great, very support. You don't always feel supported as a filmmaker going into a project like this, and they pulled out every stop. I mean, there's a guy that every day just asked me, "Hey, what do you need? Do you need another vehicle?" At one point, I mentioned that I needed energy drinks and Coke Zero, and I had a 12-pack of each waiting for me whenever I got back. It's just it was what I needed. They gave to make it a success. Everyone wanted to see it work really well, and we had a great team too. We hired some guys, Bryant Lampert.
Yeah, the guys from Attain. Amazing filmmakers.
Max, these guys were fantastic. And this guy, Ryan McGuigan, out of L.A., who was our sound guy. You can't do better than a team that really is excited to sort of contribute. And the other thing is they all saw how important this project was, or how, I guess, forget importance, how unique it was in the industry. They saw that this hadn't been done before, quite what we were trying to do, and they were excited. It made them want to get up in the morning and go kick ass,
Well, and I think that's what's interesting, is being able to do something different. I mean, there's so many filmmakers that do things in off-road, and they do amazing stuff. John Tuba for one, but it's race
John.
highlights. It's highlights. Martelli Brothers do their XP1K with RJ, where he's backflipping razors, and it's created to be a viral film. And but I think I know we did really good numbers with our Star Car program. Well, it was because we were telling the story of celebrities coming in and experience off-road for their first time. And I think with this, it's something different. I think it'll do really well because it's like we see so many things. You can pull up Instagram or YouTube or Facebook, and it's off-road video, and it's almost like, I don't want to say vanilla because they're action-packed, but it's the same thing.
Right.
And then all of a sudden it's like, oh, that's different.
Yeah.
It's like people stop. Like,
that's right.
Oh, wow, okay.
That's why I'm excited, because I mean, I just want to do something a little bit different and see where it goes. And we'll see if it finds an audience and whether people like it. It should eventually be on Amazon Prime. So it's one of those things where I'm just excited to see the outcome of all that work for all that, for that week-long period. We have a little bit more shooting to do.
What's
but
playtime supposed to be on this thing? What's the final cut? What are you guys looking at?
It's going to be feature length, so it's going to be like
an hour and a half.
Yeah. It's going to be like watching a movie, like sitting down and watching a movie. It'll be documentary style, but it'll be exciting. I think documentary has an unfair reputation nowadays for being boring. People in the past, they look back at the documentaries that they were made to watch in school or something like that, and documentaries haven't, the best documentaries at least, haven't been like that in a very long time. This one should be fun, I think. Really, really fun to watch. Yeah.
No, and I agree. I'm a massive documentary fan, and I look at some of the stuff that's come out, and I agree with you. It's like, I think people think documentary, they think some old historic figure that lived in the 1700s,
right?
And you're going to see black and white photographs, and then maybe some weird reenactment of a battle, and then another photograph, and people tell and. Yeah, totally. Documentaries have completely changed now.
They flipped. Yeah, they flipped everything, and it's I love it. I mean, there's a reason I do this for a living. I love the form of a documentary. I love what you can do creatively with it now, and playing with the form and trying to see what we can do that's new. And I really think listening to people talk while they're behind the wheel is going to be a big part of this. There's excellent conversations that we captured, long form. I mean, sometimes we were taping for 2 hours with people where they're behind the wheel. Not only do you hear them sort of talk as they navigate the terrain, but also you're hearing them just having regular conversations. How did they get into it? Why are they doing this? Why, what does their significant other think? Would they ever date a racer? I mean, just a million questions. It's good. I think it's good. And there's a lot of fun terrain in this to watch too. Like I told you, this river thing, that's the craziest day I've had in a very long time.
Well, it's like I've seen videos posted from that event, and I know there was one of, I think, Randy and Sierra and their Razor just tapped out, hitting the water, just skipping across it. And, I mean, it's, I'm excited, and I think that's one thing with this, you can do a documentary, or you can do a documentary and have it at a place that looks beautiful. And this just the backdrop of it.
The backdrop is insane.
That's it.
Yeah.
It's like you couldn't paint a better picture almost.
I'm an even bigger fan of sand dunes. I've always loved sand dunes, but I'm even bigger fan now. Like, I've never seen them used. I mean, Glamis is what people think of, I guess, when they think of dunes. A lot of the time, but Sand Hollow, I'm just a huge fan of that place. I'll definitely be back.
Yeah, well, and I think Sand Hollow. I can't say it's a secret, but I think it's a better kept secret than Glamis. Glamis is so huge, and there's so many people,
Right.
and it's just like I've been to Glamis countless times, and like I'll go, but it's not. It's so overwhelming to me. Not necessarily the size of the dunes, but the amount of people, and I feel like I'm always looking over my shoulder and looking left and right.
Always looking for whips everywhere.
Yeah, because not, just because I feel like I'm going to get hit or something, and it's just, I don't know, there's so many people, I feel like I can't just sit back and enjoy it.
Right.
You're always worried about something, and I feel like with, something like, like you're talking about Sand Hollow, people know about it, but maybe it's just that it's just a hair more remote than, say, Glamis, because people in Southern California, it's an hour and a half drive, and they can be there.
Well, and so the other thing is, I wanted to not just tell this story about these people, but also why a UTV? Why side by side? Like, why was a Jeep not interesting to these people, or something else?
I think it's bang for the buck.
Yes,
the things you can do in a $20,000 Razor, you couldn't do in a $20,000 Jeep.
No.
There's no way.
No, it's incredible. So a little bit of the film, we want to tell like the evolution story. The Rhino, the Yamaha Rhino.
Yeah.
Opening up, people called it at first like an off-road golf cart, and then, the Razor, I guess 800, Razor 900, the game changer that was the 1000, and then Can-Am and all of that entering in. Now Kawasaki, I guess, just got in.
Yeah, everybody. I mean, you've got
Honda,
Kawasaki, Yamaha, Arctic Cat, Can-Am, Polaris. I mean, everybody's there.
Right. And so it's so interesting, and the fact that this all happened within the last while. There's a line that's been sort of bouncing around in my head all since this project, where I kind of would say to some of the interviewees, I would talk about the UTV as the off-road vehicle of the smartphone era. Which really, if you think about it, the smartphone changed everything in consumer technology. I think the Razor especially may have changed everything in off-road because what you can do out of the factory is so much better. It's not like you could never do some of the things that an iPhone, like an early iPhone, could do before the iPhone. You could do some things with like a Palm Pilot or this or that, or like your laptop could do something.
It's all in how it's packaged, though.
Right, and if it's all in one thing that you get like this out of the factory, and it's this magical thing that just does a lot of the stuff that you want without you having to change anything on it, that's a pretty big game changer, And it's amazing just to see the evolution of the industry in the time that you and I have been adults, or like just since basically the smartphone, and so. I was interested in that angle because I was thinking, like, why it seems odd really to focus on a machine. How good could a machine or a category machine be to be that game changing? But it really is, And so, and also the other thing is, it's like a pair of jeans. Jeans were invented first as a work pant. Right, like they're work pants. They were for I guess someone told me the other day,
blue collar,
gold miners, I guess originally, or maybe farmers or something like that. And now everybody wears jeans. The early UTVs, I mean, they were really for work, moving things around a property, or moving hay bales or whatever it is, and co-opted for sport. And I think that's awesome. That's a fantastic story.
Yeah, no, I completely agree. I'm really excited to see this. So, any idea when this is gonna?
No.
But
I hope you'll give it a little plug when it's finally time. Like, it's one of those things. I guess a few months. I guess maybe 3 to 6 months, something like that.
Well, if it's feature length, I mean, it's going to
take a little while, to put it together.
So, and it's one of those. One thing I never envy about filmmakers such as yourself, you go and you have this amazing experience, and then you gather, and then all of a sudden you get back and you're like, I've got 400 hours of video to cut through and edit and figure out what.
No, you just told me my life right there.
Yeah.
That's my entire life.
It's like, when you're making a film, do you go, that's a really good part, earmark this one for later, you know what I mean, or something? But it's still, God, you've got to
we have ways to take notes that are linked to the time code. So let's say, you got the sound guy there, and then the camera's running, and then you might have sometimes we had 10 cameras running on one thing, we had literally 10. I think the most ever was, I had a little box, a little clear plastic box, maybe 4 by 6 inches on the table. And it said on the side in silver Sharpie, footage in box. And anytime our guys were out, we had maybe 2 or 3 teams of people out there gathering footage. We would have them come back and dump their memory cards in there. And so, sometimes we're running red cameras, so they have the red mags, and full of footage. And they would dump them in there. And I remember at one point I counted 15 cards from one event, from one morning. And I have to ingest all that. I told you I have 12 terabytes of data or something like that at the end of this. But the thing is, all of those angles are linked by, time code and things like that. So you can basically now come back and say, this was a good take, or this was a good thing. And sometimes even the sound guy will note on his report that I get at the end of each day. At about 10 or 11 p.m. every night, I got a report from the sound guy of everything we did. And it would always have the file names and a lot of other metadata. But it always had things on there like, Dustin went crazy, or fun radio chatter, or whatever it was, certain things that he had noted about the thing. So you do have an idea. And then at the end of the day, we had a girl, Molly, who is amazing. She was a great production assistant, helped me keep track of things all week. And she had our media reports of everything that we took in at the end of each day. And so you have full reports of everything, and you kind of know what you have. But it doesn't make it easier to cut it. You still have to find a way to take all of it and make it coherent,
So you do take literally 2,000 memory cards and just dump them all onto your computer at once and all these files and just start laying them on top of each other. And
sometimes we had to be creative, things would happen overnight. Sometimes transfers would take 11 hours from one device to another, and you had to basically go to bed and wake up the next morning and finish it or whatever. There was it was a lot, but it was cool. And I think that the end result is you hopefully end up with a narrative. You hopefully end up with a good story with characters that you like. And, it's kind of reminding, I'm a huge fan of the Grand Tour, and before that, Top Gear. And the thing is, you don't have to be necessarily a gearhead or a guy who loves cars or whatever to enjoy those shows. They're entertaining on their own merit. And I hope to have at least an element of that in the final product here, because I think it'll just be fun for people to sit down. There's nothing like, let's say you're a husband who has a wife and kids, but everybody's into different things. If the one off-road enthusiast in that family can sit down with Amazon Prime in front of the TV and it can hold the whole family's attention at the end of the day, that'll be a success for me.
Have you watched? It came out on Netflix back in August. It's called Hyperdrive.
Is that the Formula One show?
No, it's got Rutledge Wood, who was part of Top Gear US.
Right.
He's a good friend of mine, but it's basically American Ninja Warrior for cars.
Oh, nice. No, I haven't seen it.
No, it's insane. It's actually, but it's one of those, you don't have to be a car person to really enjoy it.
Yeah.
It's like American Ninja Warrior. I don't want to call it dumb TV, but it's you watch and be entertained, and that's how this is. But you really get attached into these people's stories and things like that.
Maybe
that are competing.
I got to check that out.
But it's Hyperdrive on Netflix, and it's
I love that.
It's amazing. It really is. Yeah, it's a good show. And I know there was a lot of people going, "Oh, that's not real racing," and I'm like, it's not supposed to be.
Right.
Right. It's made for TV. It's an obstacle course for cars.
Yeah. No, that's amazing. There were some things like that. There was at least one event we filmed where a bunch of these sort of names in the sport got in and did an obstacle course with UTVs, which involved paintball. So they have a paintball gun in one hand and their steering wheel in the other, you know, and they have to go around. And
it's hilarious.
So crazy stuff like that. But no, it was a blast. And this event, by the way, is going to be happening next year too, I believe. Now, I mean, it's not going to be the exact same. Maybe we don't, you know, make a film out of it, and maybe you don't have necessarily all those big names there every single time or in exactly the same way. But the essence of everything I just said, they do these guided trails where, you know, basically everybody will jump on the same frequency. And if you have a UTV, you can go and sign up for this event at Sand Hollow and go and be part of a convoy going up into the dunes and everything. And
nice.
It's a good thing. It really, really is. But I don't want to give short shrift to the vehicles. Like, they are incredible. I'm so impressed by just out of the box what these things can do. Really, really versatile. I mean, I remember trying to do things. I had a Jeep Wrangler for the longest time, you know, and I loved that thing, and I miss it every day. But, like, what a Razor or a Can-Am or something like that can do this today in 2019 out of the box is just, it never ceases to amaze me.
Well, and that's the thing, you know, out of the box, a Razor Can-Am, pick your manufacturer. Like,
right.
What they're able to do is good enough for 99% of the population.
Yeah.
You know, obviously the aftermarket's crazy, and you can have $100,000 Razor in about, you know, one trip to the internet. But what I'm saying is like for 99% of the people, like out of the box, it's more than capable to do everything you ever wanted it to do. And I think that's what's really cool. I mean, it's just
if you're not trying to win, you know, the Mint, then you can buy something for 20 to 30 grand, right? Isn't that pretty much the price range?
You can get a 2-seat 1000, you know, from any manufacturer for right around 19, 20 grand. So.
Yeah. And you're gonna have a lot of fun.
Yeah, a ton of fun. And it's reliable fun. It's not like the car's breaking down every 2 seconds either. That's
right.
That's what I think is crazy these manufacturers have done, is they made these vehicles so reliable.
Yes.
You know, where you can go out and you can have fun and not worry about it breaking down, you know. And granted, you might have to do, you know, replace a belt here or there, get a flat tire, but
we had to do some of that. But that was only because we were pushing them to limits. I mean, we were really doing some stuff. Like I said, we had to keep up with racers. Not only that, but we had to, even our crew had to have UTVs that were very fat. We couldn't waste any time. So we may be, you know, a half hour away from base camp, but we have a whole ton of footage to download, and then we have an hour to get to the next thing, and you can't take your time. So, you know, we were flying over the dunes pretty well, too, as a crew, and I was impressed with my own driving skills at various points in a way that I didn't expect.
So I got to ask before we let you go.
So you're asking, like, did I get the bug? Yes.
Yeah. So, yeah, when you got home, did you hit the internet and you start looking at buying one and what the payment was going to be? Like,
you know, it's funny you should say that. I kind of did a little bit. I mean, I don't think I'm in danger of buying a UTV anytime soon because I just have I'm not at that point in my life. I have too many things, but I loved it, you know, and I would definitely have.
Yeah, but with what Melissa's doing with hiking and stuff like that, like I could see this actually fitting in pretty well to the lifestyle at some point.
Yeah, we barely see each other. She's off hiking and doing all this stuff. I'm too busy with work. I mean, it's a whole thing.
So, well, John, I always have fun, man. Thank you for coming on the show.
This is awesome.
Fun to catch up on the trip, and I can't wait for it to drop, you know, and see what kind of fun you guys have.
We don't even. I can't even give you a title at this point.
I honestly, I think the industry knew something was going on because of all the shenanigans being posted on Instagram.
I know.
Yeah, Instagram was just nuts that week, like literally nuts.
It was a lot of fun.
Yeah, I think Dustin Jones referred to Sierra as his future ex-wife or something like that. I think Randy wasn't impressed, but yeah, I think we'll leave it at that. But good fun, John.
Yeah, thanks so much, man.
Oh man, that was a hell of a ride. Go check out mymedic.com for the best first aid kits on the planet and save 15% with discount code JimBeaver. Again, mymedic.com, discount code JimBeaver, and save 15%. It's cheaper than a funeral.
Life is all about sound. The sound of sports, the sound at the racetrack, and the sound of your vehicle. Don't drive around listening to this. Drive around listening to the sound of performance. Gibson Performance. Gibson Performance Exhaust is the company who can turn this into this. Remember that life is all about sound, and Gibson Exhaust is the sound of performance. Check out your next catback exhaust system, headers, muffler, or UTV exhaust at GibsonPerformance.com and get more power and more sound.
Looking to have some fun on four wheels? Dirtfish Rally School has you covered. Packing as much adrenaline and adventure as you can handle into high-performance all-wheel drive and rear-wheel drive Subaru rally cars is where the fun begins at Dirtfish. Just 30 minutes outside of Seattle and Snoqualmie, you'll get a chance to train up to 3 full days with some of the country's best instructors and be put through the high-octane rush of rally on mud, dirt, and tarmac. Get started today and call 425-888-7715 or visit us online at dirtfish.com and use code 911 for a 15% discount. And welcome back here to the 4 Parts Down and Dirty Show Off-Road Edition, powered by Polaris Razor. And we kind of fun shifting gears, talking a little recreation with my good friend John Wright. You know, it's that's what this show is all about, man. All facets of off-road, and I think that really showed you guys that today. So thank you guys for tuning in. Make sure and check us out on the web, downanddirtyshow.com. We got all kinds of content and pieces dropping each and every week. All kinds of results, stories, interviews, coverage on the website there, and check out all my shows, Down and Dirty Show and this Off-Road Edition, as well as Project Action. Go over to iTunes, hit the subscribe button. All of them definitely helps us out. And I don't know. That's about all I got for this week. Got to thank Polaris Razor Four-Wheel Parts, obviously our title sponsor of the show. General Tire, Vision Wheel, Dirtfish. Don't forget, use the coupon code DOWNDIRTYDF. That will get you 15% off at Dirtfish. Gibson Exhaust, our friends at Super ATV, Impact Race Products, and MyMedic.com. Use the coupon code Jim Beaver. That'll get you 15% off there at MyMedic.com. And that's about all I got for this week right here on the show. But once again, couldn't do it without you guys. Thank you so much for the continued support and and continuing to listen to the shows. Couldn't do it without you guys. But any guest suggestions, hit me up on social media at JimBeaver15. Love hearing from you guys and who you would like to hear on the show. So I guess with that, we're going to sign off, and we'll see you next week right here on the 4 Parts Down and Dirty Show Off-Road Edition, powered by Polaris Razor.
4WP is more than a store. We're truck and Jeep experts and have been for over 50 years. From wheel and tire upgrades to full custom builds, 4WP has you covered. Whether you want to order the best parts online or shop in store, do the work yourself, or get it done by a pro, all roads lead to 4WP. Do your rig right. Shop online or find your store at 4WP.com.